So we're going to talk about the kind of interfacings we're using for the road trip bag right now. So the two interfacings we're using is this interfacing, which is a medium weight, single side fusible interfacing, and it's called Decor bond. So it's really kind of opaque. It has one side that is kind of like, like the fabric, and then the other side, I don't know if you can see, it has a little bit of a shine to it, and that's the fusible side. We're using a lot of this for the bag to give it structure, and then we're using the fusible fleece to give us even a little bit more structure to the bag. So the fusible fleece, it comes single-sided or double-sided. We're using the single-sided fusible fleece, so it kind of has a bit of a thickness to it. And then the pebbly side is the side that is the fusible side for that. So we're using those two interfacings for the road trip bag. So I find that because of the nature of the Decor bond, I like to put it fusible side up on my ironing surface, and then I put the wrong side down on top of it. So I'm actually ironing from the fabric side. And the reason why I do that is that Decor bond sometimes gets a bit sticky, so I don't want to risk scorching it on the other side of my piece of fabric. So the other thing that I use that I absolutely adore, which is not necessary, but I just love it, is I have a easy press from Cricut that I use for bonding all of my fusibles for my bags, because it is a big plate with no steam, no moisture whatsoever, and it gives you a nice even pressure, and it bonds everything very nicely. So here it comes, easy press. We're going right down on top. I like 305 for 10 seconds. So I just hit my little button. Give it a little bit of pressure, and then when it beeps, just take it away. Let it cool down for a second. And then you'll see that all of my edges are nice and adhered, and I don't have any of that rippling or buckling that you get sometimes. So love that. So that's the lining. And I'm going to do the same. This is for the front pocket. So I'm going to put this down. So shiny side up, wrong sides together. Grab our easy press, hit our button, give it a little bit of pressure, and when it hits 0, we're going to take it away, let that cool off for a second, and then you have your pocket all adhered. I go ahead and put my letter back on to my pieces so I remember which ones they are. And I'm going to move on to the next one. Hey everyone, let's talk about layering. So in your road trip bag, you are going to layer the two different kinds of interfacing together. So you're first going to fuse the Decor bond, this one right here. So the thinner one is, we're going to fuse that onto the wrong side of our lining fabric. And then we're going to come back and we're going to fuse the fusible fleece onto the back of that as well. So this will give the bag really nice structure. What we're going to do is we're going to just try and set this Decor bond, so we're not going to do it for as much time as we did the first time, because we're going to be ironing it twice. So let's get started. All right, so we're gonna take our first one, we'll show you one. I'm using my Easy Press again, and the Easy Press is a Cricut product. So this is the large one. I also have a 9x9 at home. I think this is the 10x13. If you look at it, see how big the plate is? So that is the heat all the way to the edges. So that's a good thing. You can use your regular iron. Make sure it is no steam, dry iron. And because irons are only hot in the very center of the plate, you really want to move that to your edges and make sure you get your edges really well. All right, so we're gonna do just like we did before. We're gonna take our one piece of Decor Bond, and it's gonna go shiny side up, so fusible side up. And then we're going to put the wrong side of our lining. Give it a nice smooth out. And then I'll meet you on the other side. All right, my Easy Press is all heated up. So I'm just gonna set it down there and do it for like 5 seconds. And then lift and move. And lift and move. I'm just trying to get the first kind of, it's a stick, so that when I put the fusible fleece underneath, then I can put a little bit more heat on it and it won't have any issues. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take our piece of fusible fleece, and then here's, when you cut your fusible fleece, you cut it an inch shorter than your lining, and this is because these seams tend to get really thick. So we cut it a little bit short just so that it doesn't get into your seams and make them too bulky. All right, so we're gonna move this. When I have to center something, I usually like to center it with the wrong side up and get it where I want it. And then I'm gonna flip it over again. Because of the thickness of fusible fleece, it will take a little bit of pressure, and you need to do it from the fabric side, because if you try and do it from the other side, it will be way too thick and it will never adhere correctly. Well, not never, but you know, it'll take some time. So this I'm gonna go for the full 10 seconds on each pass. And I'm overlapping slightly when I move the Easy Press. And you wanna do that with your regular iron as well. You wanna overlap a little bit, take your time, press it, and then let it cool before you check how well it's adhered. Because if you check it when it's hot, it might peel up just because it's warmer. So this Easy Press was such a great investment. I usually try and wait until they have sales and then pick one up, or if they ever have a sale on them at one of the other crafting outlets, you know who I'm talking about. I would check that out if they ever go on sale. It's a great tool, especially if you are a bag making person like I am. So we're gonna let this cool for 10 seconds and I'll show you what the other side looks like. So just kind of let it chill out for a minute. Again, when you go, I put my little tile back on there with what, and label it with which piece it is. That way it makes sure when you get to sewing, it makes it much easier. So we're gonna flip this over. And as you can see, hopefully, that the edges are, you have like a 1/2 inch rim around it, and look how nicely that has set on there. It's nice and fused and it's nice and smooth. So we're going to do the next one, and then we're going to get to start putting this bag together.